My name is Thomas Hurley, and for almost 2 years, I've been working the late shift at a Burger King just off the highway in my town. It's not the kind of job anyone brags about, and it's definitely not where I imagined myself ending up after college, but it pays rent, keeps gas in my car, and most importantly, the hours work for me. I've always been a night owl. Staying up until sunrise has never bothered me. In fact, I prefer it. There's something calming about the quiet hours, when the world feels like it belongs to fewer people. My shift starts at 10 at night and ends at 4 in the morning, though most nights it feels longer than that. After midnight, staffing drops down to almost nothing. Some nights, it's just me. One person running the drive-thru, handling payments, handing out food, cleaning, restocking, and keeping an eye on the place. It's not ideal, but it's normal. You get used to it. The restaurant at night feels different than during the day. The lights are harsher, buzzing faintly overhead. The fryers hiss and pop in the background. The lobby is closed, so the only real interaction I have with people is through the drive-thru speaker in the window. Faces blurred together. Voices come and go. Most customers are tired, drunk, or just trying to get home as fast as possible. Nothing ever really stands out, at least, nothing used to. This all started about a month ago, on a night that felt completely ordinary at the time. I remember it because nothing else happened that shift worth remembering. No rush, no arguments, no equipment breaking. Just a slow, quiet night. Sometime after 1 in the morning, a car pulled up to the drive-thru speaker. I did my usual greeting, half on autopilot. A male voice responded. Calm, normal, forgettable. He ordered a large double Whopper with cheese meal and a Coke. No substitutions, no hesitation. Just clean, straightforward ordering. I rang it up and told him to pull forward when he reached the first window to pay. Something felt slightly off, but I couldn't immediately explain why. He rolled his window down only a few inches, just enough to slide his card through. His windows were heavily tinted, darker than what you usually see around here. Between the tint and the angle of the lights, I couldn't see his face at all. It was like he wasn't really there, just a car and a voice. He didn't say anything else. No thanks, no small talk. He paid. I handed him his receipt, and did. I expected him to pull forward to the second window like every other customer. Instead, he just drove away. No hesitation. No pause. He didn't even slow down. I stood there for a second, confused, holding the receipt stub in my hand. I leaned out the window slightly, watching his taillights disappear into the darkness beyond the parking lot. I figured maybe he'd realized his mistake and would circle back around. People forget food sometimes. It happens more than you'd think. I waited. A minute passed. Then 2. Nothing. Eventually, the food was ready, sitting in a bag on the counter, getting colder by the second. Since it was already paid for and no one came back for it, I set it aside. Later that night, during one of the long, quiet stretches, I ate it myself. Free food is one of the few perks of the job. I didn't think about it again. About a week later, during another overnight shift, it happened again. Same time of night, same car sound rolling up to the speaker, same unremarkable male voice, same order. A large double Whopper with cheese meal and a Coke. This time, I remember feeling a flicker of recognition, but it didn't fully click yet. People order the same thing all the time. Regulars exist. It's fast food. Patterns happen. He pulled up to the first window, rolled his window down just enough to pass his card, paid, took the receipt, and drove away. Didn't stop. Didn't hesitate. I remember standing there longer this time, staring out into the parking lot, feeling a little unsettled. Not scared, just confused. It felt too similar. But again, I shrugged it off. Coincidences happen, late-night customers. Error weird. I told myself not to overthink it. The third time was when I knew something wasn't right. It happened 4 or 5 days later. Same order, same voice, same behavior. Same exact sequence of events, right down to how he slid the card through the window and how fast he drove. Away afterward. That's when the pattern became impossible to ignore. From that point on, it kept happening. Every few nights, usually between 1 and 3 in the morning, the same car would pull up. Same order, same payment, same disappearance. Always just far enough apart that it felt intentional. I never saw his face. Not once. By then, I knew something weird was going on, but I didn't say anything. I didn't report it. I didn't tell. A manager. The meals were paid for. Nothing illegal was happening, and honestly, I was benefiting from it. Free food during a long shift goes a long way. I started joking to myself that some mysterious stranger was buying me dinner. It became part of my routine. I'd catch myself thinking about it during slower nights, wondering if tonight would be another Whopper night. It sounds stupid now, but at the time, it felt harmless, almost comforting. Something predictable in an otherwise boring job. That's what makes what happened next so much worse. One night, around 2 in the morning, the familiar sound of tires on pavement reached the speaker again. I already knew who it was. I already knew what he was going to order. I took the order automatically, barely listening. But this time, after confirming the meal, he didn't pull away immediately. Instead, he spoke again. His voice was calm, casual, almost friendly. "I hope you've been enjoying those Whoppers, Mr. Hurley." I felt my entire body lock up. For a second, I thought I misheard him. I actually leaned closer to the speaker, waiting for clarification, for him to repeat himself, for my brain to correct the mistake. But no correction came. "My last name is Hurley. I do not wear a name tag with my last name on it. Customers can't see it on any paperwork. It's not printed anywhere visible in the drive-thru. There is absolutely no reasonable explanation for a stranger." To know it, I couldn't speak at first. My mouth opened, but nothing came out. It felt like my brain lagged behind reality, struggling to catch up with what just happened. Then I started asking questions. "Who are you? How do you know my name? What do you want?" I kept repeating myself, my voice getting louder and more frantic each time. I must have asked, "Who is this?" 4 or 5 times. He didn't answer. This time, he didn't even pull up to the payment window. I heard his engine rev, sharp and sudden, and then he was gone. I stood there shaking, staring at the empty drive-thru lane, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. The rest of my shift passed in a blur. Every sound made me jump. Every car that slowed down outside made my stomach twist. When I finally got home that morning, the sky was just starting to lighten. I was exhausted, mentally and physically. I walked up to my front door, fumbling with my keys, already planning to collapse into bed. That's when I saw the note. It was sitting right on my doorstep, folded neatly, handwritten. My hand started shaking as soon as I picked it up. I could feel it in my chest, that instinctive dread you get before something bad happens, when your body knows before your mind does. I opened it, I know what you did. You have 3 days. That was it. No explanation. No signature. Just a threat. I stood there, staring at the paper for a long time, my stomach twisting, my mind racing. I couldn't think of anything I had done. I don't have enemies. I don't have secrets. I don't live a dramatic life. I work fast food. I play video games. I keep to myself. That night, I didn't sleep at all. I sat on the couch, with every light in the house turned on, replaying everything over and over in my head, trying to find some mistake, some memory, some reason this was happening. Nothing. Came? 3 nights later, he came back. This time, he didn't order food. He told me to write something down. He gave me an address on the outskirts of town and told me I had 2 days to deliver $10,000. I almost laughed when he said it. Not because it was funny, but because it felt unreal. I didn't have $10,000. I still don't. There was no way I could pay him even if I wanted to. After he drove away, the fear hit harder than ever. I considered calling the police right then, but doubt crept in. What if it was a prank? What if it was a scam? What if calling them made things worse? So I did nothing. 3 nights passed. Then the rock came through my window. The sound of shattering glass jolted me out of my seat. I hit the floor instinctively, my heart racing, convinced for a split second that someone was shooting at me. When I realized what happened, I ran to the window. Whoever threw it was already gone. That's when I called the police. They took a report. They said they'd checked the address. They said they'd patrolled the area more. And then they left. That was 3 days ago. I've been calling in sick to work. I can't afford to move. I can't afford to quit. I don't know why I was chosen. All I know is that someone out there knows my name, knows where I live, and is still watching. And I don't know what's coming next.